miss you. I'm Lyndal, for those of you who may not know me. And the first thing I want to do is ask you, how are you really? Often when I ask people that and I add the really, it's like this painful jolt in their side. And I just want you to know that you can always come to us and we will always listen. So please tell us how you really are doing. And if you feel like you're not coping, if you need support, if you're lonely, if you're feeling really isolated, or just want to reach out and talk to us because we haven't seen you in so long, please do that. So today is going to be the first part of 3 parts in a devotional series about being in the wilderness. And today I'm going to speak about Jesus being in the wilderness, and this was repeated in the Gospels in Matthew 4 verse 1 to 11, Mark 1 verse 12 to 13, and Luke 4 verse 1 to 15. So the first thing I want to speak about is that in Mark 1 verse 12 to 13 it said that there were wild beasts in the wilderness with Jesus. So the other 2 don't mention it, and I think it's something to easily read over and not think about, but this was, maybe it's because I come from South Africa and we have lions and stuff, but this was a real physical danger that Jesus faced. So even after day 20 of no food and he was really weak and tired, he still had to be aware of this physical danger, this presence, how to defend himself, how to look after himself if a threat were to arise. And there might be some of you that are feeling very scared right now, physically scared. Maybe you're in a home situation where you feel that you aren't safe. Or if you leave quarantine and go back to school, there's a bully that's been hurting you and you have to face that again. Whatever your situation is, please reach out to us, because it's not God's heart for you to feel like you're in any physical danger or to be in fear. The next thing I want to speak to you about is the hunger. 40 days, no food. I don't think anybody wants to be in that situation. And when Satan tempted Jesus with food, he not only tempted him physically with the flesh, with Jesus' physical hunger, but emotionally, he wanted Jesus to use this as a display of his power to prove that he was the Son of God. And in this, for this part, I'm going to speak about food though. So how is your food consumption? Are you running to the fridge every time you're bored? Are you comfort eating? Are you feeling lonely and trying to fill that void in your life with food? Or are you on the opposite end? Are you seeing really attractive people on Instagram and TikTok and finding this as an opportune time to not eat and not eat enough because you want to emerge from isolation as a really skinny version of your old self? If that's the case, I just want to remind you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're made in God's image. You're so beautiful. And there's nothing you have to do to make yourself worthy. You really are worthy. And if you're overeating and using it as an emotional crutch, please reach out. You deserve healing and you deserve relationship and friendship in your life. And we want to be that support for you. Then the next thing I speak about is materially, and it says that Satan took Jesus to a high point and showed him all these beautiful kingdoms and said to him, if you worship me, then you can have these kingdoms and this power and this splendor. And maybe that seems like a bit weird for us, like we're not exactly going to go get a kingdom now, but how many celebrities are we not seeing on social media with these beautiful mansions, doing a TikTok in front of like this fancy kitchen they have or whatever it is, and you're going, oh my word, I wish I had that much money, or I wish I was that cool that I could just post a TikTok and get 1 million likes. So it's this concept of being tempted in this way is not actually that far off from what we face. And then the last thing is power and abilities. If you are the Son of God, Satan said, then throw yourself off this building and command the angels to save you. So I think this was mostly about the fact that he was trying to say, like, if you are really Jesus, show that you're Jesus. Prove yourself. And how many of us feel like we have to prove ourselves? Especially now that we're in isolation, it's so easy to feel like we question our identity. We're not doing as much, therefore we have less to post on social media. We're not seeing the same people we would usually see. Sometimes it's a really harsh reality to think maybe our friends aren't really our friends because they're not really reaching out to us during quarantine. It's always you that sends a message or tries to send a voice note or something. It's never from their side first. So in this time of being in the wilderness, being in isolation, when you're lonely, and you can be in a house with 10 other people right now and still feel lonely, you may feel tempted by similar things, but I want to encourage you and say that Jesus knows better than any person you can speak to about these feelings, about bad relationships with food, about being physically scared, about wishing you had more in life, that you lived in a nicer house, that you had more money, and just that feeling of being inadequate and feeling that you need more. And I really want to encourage you, as real as your feelings are, and they are real, take it to Jesus, because he knows better and he wants to come into your heart and heal those places and bless you. I miss you all so much, and I can't wait till we can see each other again, but I'll see you in part 2 of this devotional. Bye.